Welcome back, fams. Let's put this in the ether. You know what? I want to advocate that men should befriend other men regardless of their race, right? So, what I mean by that, I mean that black men should befriend white men should befriend Asian men should befriend Hispanic men, so on and so forth. Because it only benefit us as a collective, as men, right? We should not see, should see beyond color, right? Because if we're friends with each other, it gives us an indication how women of other cultures are like, how they behave, so other men will understand how similar women can be. All right? So we could share our knowledge of how we could prevent ourselves of many men from multitude of races, right? Backgrounds, culture, to understand how women are in different society and different country and stuff. So we understand what to avoid, what not to avoid, to see how women are different from each other. Because right, to see how women are different and the same from each other. So men could avoid a failed relationship no matter what, right? Because if you're not aware, right, a lot of wars, a lot of country, a lot of domination are fight over females. Usually why men fight is because of females, right? Usually why wars started because of females. Usually because of all these stuff. Because certain demographic are afraid for the female to be taken by another male group, another ethnic group, another this and that, right? We should stop all this foolishness of all men fighting each other because of race, right? Of all intermingling, of all bickering, of all these stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a woman who's using men. It's a woman who's abusing men, regardless of the race. Hispanic women could use black men. A white woman could use an Asian man, right? A white woman could use what? A black man or any other race out there. And if we would just be a collective and understand and share our knowledge of how their women in their culture function, guys would not be in the vulnerable positions, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about race at all, right? Guys should understand and try to get along with each other and leave all these racist things behind. Because all these racist things is just a distraction from what us guys to camaraderie with each other, right? If without women, right? Hypothetically speaking, if without women existing, right? Guys would coexist. There would be no reason for war, no reason for fighting, right? But with women, this is the reason why war exists or conflict exists between countries, ethnic groups, right? Because men don't want their woman to be taken away from another group of men out there, right? But without that, take that element of women, of sex, guys would function each other perfectly. It'll be fine, right? So I want guys to understand or try to get to know or befriend other men of different culture and different race, right? We could all get along with each other, right? The thing is, if we get along with each other, we could all share the knowledge, share how our experiences between one woman and show the light how difficult it is for being men, how it truly is for women and their nature, right? If not for women, we wouldn't be in these situations. Right? It gives us a clear indication how women are like. And if we're ever in a certain background, certain country, we know what to avoid, we know what not to get ourselves into when we deal with certain kind of women. Because all women, they're all the same, but yet again, depending on their custom and tradition, they all function differently, but yet the main objective is to get the man, to captivate the man. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's a woman to try to captivate the man. Try to trap the man in this false reality, false relationship. Right? No matter what race they are. Right? Women, in their whole goal is to trap men in a relationship. To deprive men of resources. I don't care whatever their ethnicity is. Right? The main goal is to get men's resources. They don't care about if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, whatever. Right? They see if you have money, they'll try to fool you in this relationship. And it only benefits men if we all share the kind of knowledge that we all possesses. Each individual men know how their women are like in their culture. Right? I can't say, look, for me, right? There's some things I know about women. They all share the same similarities. But But I can't say the same if I were try to understand a a Arab woman because I'm not in that culture. But if I have a friend who's Arab, he might give me some knowledge that I'm not aware of, right? Like me, right? If I get if I know my black friends, right? I tell them that certain things about Asian women, right? And so on and so forth. It only benefit us, right? That's why I want men out there who disregard all the race. Just befriend each other. We can only benefit from each other, right? If we benefit from each other, we could avoid all this mess that we're dealing with, the struggle that men are dealing with, the relationship that men are dealing with, the relationship problem that men are dealing with, right? It's easy for another man, regardless of the race, to talk to each other, right? It's easy for us to bond with each other because we understand one another, right? Men are not complex, regardless of race, right? We're just straightforward, regardless of who you are, what's your background. Guys could find a common ground what to talk about, like certain things, like all men could come together, like for say their interests, like sports, right? Regardless of your ethnicity group, all guys could relate to sports, right? Regardless of your color, your skin color, all guys could relate to hobby like what, like firearms, or masculine hobby like football, something like that, right? We can all find some commonalities, so it's not hard for men to befriend each other, right? So if we find it in the collective, as men in general, as a gender of men, just to let go of conflict, let go of or bury the hatchet, whatever it is, right? Don't think of one another as superior than the other, because at the end of the day, we're all men. We go through the same struggle, right? We're going through the same problem of dealing with this thing that modern women have, right? Modern women is not just subjugated to just one race. Modern women could be multitude of race. But the thing is, some guys of certain race are lacking information of certain women in certain race, right? So it only makes sense if guys would befriend other men so we can get the certain knowledge that we're lacking because we're not in that culture, right? So I want, squash this idea of racial differences. Yeah, I understand racial play of different things, but what if we just don't let that affect us? Just look at each other as equal men. You are a man and I'm a man, right? You are a certain height and I'm a certain height, right? You are muscular and I'm skinny, right? Etc. etc. But let that ego go, let that separate and just look at each other as men, right? I could benefit you in certain things and you could benefit me in certain things. We could all learn from each other, right? And one thing we could all learn from each other is how women behavior are different from other culture and other race, right? They share the same similarities, but depending on the culture, they have different behaviors, right? And that's what certain men are lacking, right? White men, they don't know how some, if they get it with some Asian woman, there's some information he's lacking, some differences that he is accustomed to. Like there's a difference between Asian women and white women. There's a difference between black women and Latin women. There's a difference between Arab women and what Hispanic women. All these stuff. But if men would get together, we share our knowledge, and we should already know how to handle and tackle women of various backgrounds. That's what it is. That's a benefit of a man befriend another man of a different race. We should already befriend a man with a different race. We should not limit to our friendship of a man just by our skin color, right? We shouldn't do that because if we don't know how other culture are functioning or the tradition, if we don't know other culture tradition, we're just doing ourselves a disservice. That's what it is, right? We need to have that urge to want to know how different culture work as well. So we wouldn't be clueless when we have to deal with other women from other culture, right? And that's what's going on, right? Black men are dating white women, but then again, some of them are clueless of how white women react, or Asian men are dating white women because there's something that Asian men are clueless about how women react, or it's white men dating Asian women because they're clueless of how Asian women are behaving, right? But if we know each man and we share the same knowledge of how our culture are different, men of various backgrounds will understand how to or what to look for in women in different culture, right? I hope that makes sense for you, right? The point is, it's better off just to get along with each other and learn from each other than it is to dispute each other and not get along with each other. Because we only benefits if we learn from each other, right? If we don't learn from each other and still have conflict and resentment against each other, we're not going to learn it. It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't serve us well in the future. It only benefits us if we get along with each other, right? So we could avoid toxic women out there. So we could avoid all these women that taking men for granted, taking men what? Taking advantage of men. Because women from other culture could take advantage of any men from any culture. Let's say that. That's a fact, right? A Chinese woman could take advantage of a white man. European woman could take advantage of a black man, right? But if we would know each other culture, we would avoid those kind of situations, right? Because men we're not limited to just specific type of race. Some of us do, but ultimately, right? I don't care what race the woman is. If she's cute, she's cute, right? So I see beyond race. My look on people, projection on people. I don't see just race at all. But yet again, they have the different standards, the different characteristics. But if I would know more black friends, right, I would know how black women react. If I know Hispanic men, I would know how Hispanic react. If I know Middle Eastern men, I would know how Middle Eastern women behave, right? Etc. So forth, and all this stuff, right? So back to my point is, I just want guys to let go all these distraction of race, because race to me doesn't exist. I don't see color, and it's just a way to distract men from being on their purpose, right? So try to befriend each other. That's it. That's it. Try to make friends with all different backgrounds and all different culture. That's it. Because it benefits us and we can all learn from each other. But on that note, guys, let me know if you agree or disagree, right? Should we have more friends from various backgrounds and various culture, or should we just decide our own self, or who do we want to kick it with? But on that note, guys, let me know if you agree or disagree. If you like my video, I drop videos daily, right? And you will support my video. Like, share, subscribe. On that note, guys, as always, thanks for listening. Peace and blessings.